What's going on, guys? So about a week ago or so, I found out that GSM Outdoors purchased SOG, or SOG Knives. This is the same company that recently acquired Cold Steel. Now, this is not new news. In fact, this happened sometime at the end of 2020. And I only found out about a week ago. Someone sent me a message talking about it a little bit, and I was really surprised. I'm like, really? That happened? I didn't hear about it. I meant to make a video about it, and then just today, someone messaged me again saying they heard the news, so it kind of reminded me, and so now I'm making a video on it. So this is not new news. You can see some articles online. In fact, there's a Knife News article from December 2021 saying this time last year they bought them, meeting around December 2020. So this is something I had no idea that happened, and I want to talk about it a little bit. So yeah, now I know that GSM Outdoors, which is a conglomerate corporation that has dozens and dozens of outdoor, mostly hunting related companies. You can see they have a company or brand that makes tree stands, a brand that makes trail cams, all kinds of hunting stuff, right? So it makes sense that they would acquire knife companies as part of their repertoire, I guess, of subsidiary companies. It's just one of those things. It's corporate America. I'm not going to get into a whole rant on why it's not good to have monopolies, but that's really where we're going. That's what it's been for a long time. If you go to the grocery store and you look at a wall of a specific type of food item, popcorn or chips or cereal or whatever, you're looking at dozens of different brands, but it could be one or two people that own all those different brands. So what we have is an illusion of choice. Now, clearly, you can choose whatever you want, but what I'm saying is that let's say you have, in this case, knife number 1 with a certain brand on it, Cold Steel, knife number 2 with a certain brand on it, SOG, but really it's the same company that owns both. The same company makes your money. They get your money, whatever you choose, So it's just one of those things. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's nothing new. This has been going on for a long time. But I see a problem with it just overall because you don't really have competition. You just have this illusion of competition. And, we live in a free market. There's nothing stopping people from making a lot of money and buying a bunch of companies and making more money. But it's just something I don't like. It doesn't matter that I don't like it. I'm not alone. A lot of people don't like it either. You can see what, and I don't want to sound like one of those people, but I am one of those people. Look what Wal-Mart has done to America. It is what it is. It's just what it is. But I see it okay, Walmart obviously put thousands and thousands and thousands of little mom and pop business shops out of business. They couldn't compete with the prices. They couldn't compete with the variety of products that they offered. But what's changed over the years to me is Walmart is not that cheap. And if you go to a regular, what I consider a regular Walmart, but it's considered a super Walmart with a grocery store, you can see some of the groceries are more expensive than much smaller local grocery stores. Look at the clothes. Clothes used to be super cheap at Walmart. They are not super cheap at Walmart. You can get name brand clothes from name brand companies cheaper, especially on sale, than if you walk into Walmart and buy a cheap Walmart t-shirt. But we've been programmed as Americans to think that Walmart's the cheapest option, and it just is not the cheapest option anymore. In fact, Walmart is trying to, and I don't know how this got into a whole rant about Walmart, but they're trying to reinvent their company. They're trying to make it look more expensive, like a Target or a store you'd find at the mall or something. You can look into that, you can Google it, but they're going to change how their stores look and the feel of their stores to make it seem more expensive, and hopefully bring in more clientele. But like I said, people go to Walmart thinking, oh, it's cheap. Walmart's convenient. I still shop at Walmart because it's convenient. I can get underwear or medicine, or a candle or a box of ammo in my area, all at the same stop. That's the whole point. But I'm not shopping there because it's cheap. And I very much look at prices, and I very much try to shop around. And there's certain things I just won't buy at Walmart because it's just not the cheapest option. If I can buy something locally, if I can, even Home Depot and Lowe's. I like Home Depot. I like Lowe's. It's fine. But if I need something small, I'll shop local. I'll pay twice as much for, a pack of screws or hardware or something that I need. It's convenient that it's close, but I like, supporting those smaller businesses. It's not something I always do, but when I can and when it's in my mind, I certainly do. I'll pay a little extra to help out the small guy. And, obviously, like I said, it's convenient. I don't happen to have a Walmart by me, even though Walmarts are everywhere. I live out, in the woods, and my closest Walmart's, half an hour away. So anyway, enough about Walmart. It's not really what the video is about. I guess the point what I was saying is that, these big companies, they take over, and it's like an unstoppable train. And if Walmart went out of business tomorrow, which I don't know why they would, but if the Waltons decided, you know what, who cares? Let's just go over to a different country or whatever, take our business elsewhere. They could just get crazy and just close down. Most people don't because there's, so much money there. I don't know why they'd close down, but think about how many employees Walmart has. I don't know off the top of my head. They have a lot. You can Google it and figure it out. But think about it. One company in America shuts down tomorrow. Look at Amazon. If Amazon just decided to shut down, and no, they probably won't for any reason. But if they just shut down, look at all the job loss in our country. It actually has an impact on our society. That's pretty insane. So that's what I don't like about it. I like the variety. I like competition because when there's competition, you have to drive prices down. Okay, that's the part of competition. But if one company owns all the different brands, they can price it whatever you want. And that's just what you're going to pay. So, it feels a little bit like an old man rant here, and maybe I am becoming a little bit of an older man, and that's okay. I still like both brands. The positive about this is that, like, so far with cold steel, I haven't seen too much of a difference. And something else that's important to note here is, like, when a company buys a different company, a lot of times they just own it. It's not like they're clearing house, bringing in new people, doing different things all the time. Sometimes they will. And what everyone's worried about, especially when the cold steel news hit, everyone was worried about quality going down. Okay, now we have a different, bigger company. They're all about the bottom line. What's the cheapest we could do things? And, that's the concern, is that, they're going to use cheaper steels now and make more of the knives, cheap and more bulk and, and crappy. That's what people are always concerned about when you're talking about, like, big corp. But so far, knock on wood, it's been okay. But I think it's because Lynn Thompson is still very much involved. He may not own the company anymore. I don't know the specifics. Maybe they're paying him to employ him to basically keep an eye on things, keep running it. Just because one company buys another, like I said, doesn't mean they're changing anything. They just, on paper, they own it. And ultimately, they can make whatever changes they want because they do own it. But more times than not, the workers are still there. It's the same people doing the same thing. Anyway, I'm babbling on here. I should have introduced these two wonderful knives that I'm testing. I'll eventually have a video on. I've had both of these for a long time, quite a long time. So we have a cold steel Kiridashi folder, which is awesome. And we have the SOG-TAC XR, which is also awesome. But yeah. Anyway, like I said, this is just news to me. I'm passing on. It took me 2 years. Well, almost 2 years, I guess, to find this news out. I don't know why. Maybe I just didn't hear the right things from the right people. But now that I know that's official, they own them. GSM Outdoors. They own Cold Steel and they own SOG Knives. So if you don't know, now you do. That's the point of the video, is just to pass it on a little bit, have a little rant about corporate America. Like I said, I'm very much for a free market and the ability to make as much money as possible. It's just, you can see the obvious drawbacks and concerns when people just get bigger and companies get bigger and bigger and bigger. Sometimes it's funny money. It's money. When you have so much money that you can't physically even count it, it's a lot. It's a lot of money. You know what I mean? And it's just, the big concern obviously is there's not as much focus. If you're a corporate, let's say you have a boardroom with like 10 people in it and they're running one company. That's cool, whatever. Then they're running 5 companies. Well, it's kind of like having 5 kids. You just can't have the same attention with each individual child. If you have 10 kids, I'm sure you love all your kids. But you can't give each kid that same attention. If you had 20 kids or 50 kids, you'd probably start forgetting names. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is. So when you have this giant corporation that has dozens and dozens of brands, how involved are they really in each, individual brand? I just feel like there's just a little bit less concern with every brand added to that corporation. And, if like, let's say, now that they owe both these companies, let's say 5 years down the road, the numbers aren't making it and they just drop Cold Steel. And that's it. The brand's gone forever. It's just sad. It's weird. It's weird to me because when I grew up, Cold Steel was Cold Steel. SOG was SOG. They had nothing to do with each other. They were competition. But now they're one and the same, But hey, life moves on. Things change. I guess I'm not very good with change. And so I have a hard time with that, I suppose. At the end of the day, nothing really changed so much as what we see, but again, the influence and what's possible in the future could change, and that's a little scary, I suppose. In the grand scheme of things, knife companies, it's not the end of the world. It's not the most important thing in the world, but hey, I give you guys knife content, right? So this is some knife content that I just heard of. I just heard the news and I wanted to pass it on because I don't know why 2 years, it almost took 2 years before I found this out. It's just crazy. I remember when the Cold Steel purchase happened, everyone knew about it. Everyone was talking about it. How did I miss that they bought SOG? I don't know. Maybe not as many people talk about SOG knives. Anyway, I love both brands, and hopefully they don't change too much over the years. And if they do, hopefully it changes for the better. You never really know. It's not all doom and gloom. Just because a giant corporation owns them now doesn't mean that they're going to turn to junk. It's just that's the worry, obviously. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Anyway, as far as these two knives go, they're still very much in testing. Like I said, I've had these for a very long time, since both of these knives came out. Actually, since this one came out, I got it, and this one I got in a trade not too long after it came out. So it's been quite some time. But, sometimes I'll get these knives, I put them on the back burner, they get stored away, forgotten about, I rediscover them, and it's a constant flow of stuff. So you'll eventually see videos on these. I have these on the forefront now, so they get used a little bit more, and eventually I'll do a video on it. So anyway, that is it. Let me know if GSM buys anything else. Shoot me over a message or something on Instagram, or post a comment if they start buying up all the different knife companies. How weird would that be if they own Benchmade and Spyderco and Kershaw, KAI, which obviously ZT Knives, across the board. What if they just own it all? That's it. Just one company, all the knife companies, at least all the more known production companies. They bought Buck Knives and CRKT and just the whole slew of them. I don't know, it'd just be weird. Sometimes it's just what it is. A company, people have companies to make money, and you might have a passion. Like Lynn Thompson has a passion to make knives. He really does. He loves it. If you've ever watched him or heard him talk about knives, you could tell he really is passionate about it, but he's just a guy, and he got older, and he realized, obviously a number was thrown at him to buy the company, and he thought, all right, that's cool. I'm not going to live forever. And he invested in his future, future of his family. And it made sense to him, so he sold it. That's just what happens. In corporate America, they just take out their blank checkbook and they say, what's it going to cost? I'll give you a quick little story. There's a small pharmacy that's by me. Now, I used to have a Rite Aid that's by me, local, and Walgreens bought out Rite Aid, and they turned half the Rite Aids into Walgreens, right? Walgreens is a massive, massive pharmaceutical company. Now, even though they have their store, they make all their money in the pharmacy with all the pills. All right, selling the little bags of chips and soda and greeting cards is nothing. That's I don't know, 10% of what they're making, as far as their income. But across the street from Walgreens was a small little hole-in-the-wall pharmacy. It was a mom-and-pop pharmacy. It's been there for 60 or 70 years, right? And a lot of locals liked it. They liked it because it wasn't corporate. And guess what happened recently? Walgreens bought them out. They took out their blank checkbook and they said, what's it going to take? Because they didn't want competition. They didn't want a small little pharmacy across the street that takes a little bit more time to talk to you, that cares just a little bit more about your prescription. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of elderly people where I live, and they like that. They like that old school thing. Not to mention some of them have literally just been going there for 30, 40 years, some locals. And Walgreens said, no, we don't like it. We don't want the competition, so we're going to just go ahead and write you a check. And they did. They came up with a number, and the family that owned it said, okay, because they're looking out for their own family, which is totally fine. That's what you do, right? You look out for your family. You're trying to support and provide. And so whatever big fat number they put on a piece of paper, they said, okay. And that was it. They retired, and who knows how much money they got. I'm sure a lot of money. And guess what? Now it's gone. A lot of the locals are complaining about it. I follow some different Facebook pages and stuff for local news, and you know, see what people are saying. It's always good to keep in touch with neighbors and stuff. A lot of them are extremely disappointed, you know, and it happened like this, just ding, 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 real quick, you know, before even anyone got wind of what was going to happen, it was gone. Closed down for good. That's it. All your prescriptions automatically transferred over to Walgreens. And it's just sad. And I got a letter in the mail because at some point I went there for something. And the letter wasn't even from, like, it made it sound like it was from the pharmacy. It wasn't. It was some corporate BS letter from Walgreens pretending, because they own it now, so they could speak on their behalf. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. But it wasn't like the nice, you know, little old guy and little old lady that owned it sending a letter. No, it was Walgreens pretending to be them because they can, and saying, hey, you know, we're really excited to, you know, move over to Walgreens and blah, 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 blah. And here's where you can find it. And here's where you can get your medicine now because you have no choice. And that's the closest pharmacy for miles. And it wasn't an accident. They targeted this little place, bought them out, you know, waived their checkbook, and now they're gone. So it's just life. That's it's disheartening to see stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it does affect some people, and sometimes it makes people's lives a little bit harder. But you know, it's I don't know. It's one of those things. I live in a small town, so when a business closes down, and there's other businesses that have closed down since the pandemic, it's depressing. You know, it becomes a ghost town. You see these empty lots, empty buildings. You see a strip mall with 5, you know, buildings in it, and only one is actually a business that's open, and the rest are just sitting there collecting cobwebs. So, yeah. Anyway, it is what it is, but I'm not a big fan of corporate America. I know it's convenient to order on Amazon. I know it's convenient to walk into Walmart. I'm guilty of both. I do both. I'll probably continue to do both. I hate doing it. But it's what it is. It's convenience, and sometimes it's just affordability. You know, that's what it's about. And it's unfortunate because everyone does that, and that's why we're moving that direction. You know, I'm part of the problem. I get it. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, that is all for this one. A little bit of knife news. Kind of sad. We'll have a little moment of silence for SOG here. Change. Just not a fan. That's all. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.